lives in positive ways. As a matter of fact, we had a couple that nobody had ever heard of up until a few years ago, the Othmers. In my job as the leader of Berkshire Hathaway is to have visions and goals for the company overall with a long time horizon attached to them, and then to get those goals accomplished through other people. That's what it's all about. I can't do it myself. So I have to know where I want us to get to. I have to see over the next mountain if possible. But then I have to get a lot of other people to look over that mountain with me and really do the job. I mean, they are the ones that get it accomplished. So it's getting things done through other people. Now, Berkshire is like many large corporations in certain ways, but it's really quite different in many ways. We have over 150,000 people now working for Berkshire Hathaway in dozens of companies throughout this country primarily, and even abroad a little bit. We have exactly 15.8 people in headquarters, and Deb Ray came down with me today, so we've only got 13.8 there today, and we're probably working just as well with those 13.8 as we would if Deb and I were in the office. But that's an unusual organization. We have dozens of operating managers, CEOs of their businesses out there running them today, and they do it without any direction from the home office except for one very limited piece of direction that I give them, which I'll get to in a second. But we have these people, and they're an unusual group of people running these businesses because most of them have sold their businesses to us, and they're very, very wealthy. 3/4 of our managers do not need to work financially. They have no reason financially to work. Probably 3/4 of them are worth at least $50 million, and we have some that are worth in the billions. And yet these people jump out of bed every morning and work, and they work weekends, and they love working. And why is that? And what's the key to that? The key really is the same reason I keep working. I'm 72. I'm getting Social Security now, so I should be in Florida, pushing shuffleboard around or something of the sort. But I do what I can do. Anything in the world I want to do. But what I want to do is run Berkshire Hathaway. Now, why do I want to run it that way? There's a couple things. I get to paint my own painting. I go down there every day, and I feel like Michelangelo. They're working on the Sistine Chapel or something. Nobody else may think it's a great painting, but I get to paint my own painting. I do not have people second guessing me. I do not have people saying, "Why don't you use a little more red paint than blue paint? Why don't you paint a seascape instead of a landscape?" I get to do my own thing. It's a form of creativity. It's exactly like somebody feels it's a professional golfer or somebody feels it's a painter. They're not doing it for the money, primarily. They're doing it because they like doing something well, and that it happens to be down the route of their talents. And the second thing I like, frankly, is I like applause. I like appreciation. So I like having shareholders who feel good about what I've done. I mean, I have a 96-year-old aunt, and her husband went to the University of Nebraska too. And she has all her money in Berkshire Hathaway, and she counts on me. And she's out in Palm Springs now, and her whole net worth is in Berkshire. And I've got cousins, and I've got everybody in our family has got all their money in Berkshire. And so those people are counting on me. And that's kind of fun to have something where you can actually deliver for other people and change their lives in positive ways. As a matter of fact, we had a couple that nobody had ever heard of up until a few years ago, the Othmers in New York. They came from Omaha. I'm not sure what high school she went to in Omaha, probably South High. They left $750 million when they died. Nobody ever heard of them. And I think a substantial portion, went right here to the University of Nebraska. It was probably a total surprise to the university when they got, I don't know, you probably got 150 million or so. Yeah. Well, you should thank the Othmers, but nevertheless, you see the money, you see good things happening out of it. So it's fun. I mean, it beats playing golf every day or something of the sort. So I say, if that's what turns me on, what's going to turn on these managers that are out there running things like Clayton Homes, or we've got a company, Flight Safety, that trains more pilots than anybody in the world. Flight Safety is run by an 85-year-old man, Al Yulshi. Al started the company with $10,000 in 1951. It now trains 4 or 5 times as many pilots as non-military pilots as anybody in the world. And he is there at 85, and it's a matter of public record. He's got $1 billion worth of Berkshire shares. He works 7 days a week. He loves it. And he loves it for the same reason that I love what I do. He gets to do it his way. He buys these big simulators that you train pilots in. He doesn't have to check with me.
All right, man. Yes. Turn down Big Daddy Buffett there. Looking at the TQQQ here, and we have an official stage 1. We jumped it and got in the other day. Or I did. Let me pull up another monitor here. Stock we got into yesterday. Check this out. I sent out a text about it. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me just draw this out here. Stage 1, 3, and 1. All right. So let's see. There we go. Hopefully we can see this. There we go. Yeah, it looks like everybody can, man. See this. Cool. All right, so what was there a weird breathing on there? Yeah, it looks like everybody can, man. All right, we're working. So here is the money flow pattern. Now you notice always at the top of my charts, I have the RSI. And one thing about the RSI, if you have my stock charts, and I'm not going to go over this in great detail, but from one extreme to another is what is a perfect pattern. And this is what what I want to see, because it helps me determine that this move here, and I'm not so much worried about direction, but this move here, this stage 4 leg down is probably done. We've gone from an extreme high to an extreme low, and we see price bouncing in what is known as the 4 stages of price movement. A lot of people talk about the 4 stages. I've tried to be a voice to really popularize that. I learned it from a guy named Stan Weinstein. If you guys go back, he used to put out a newsletter. I put out a newsletter, the petersreport.com. If you look to the right in the comments, get on Substack. I don't know why people aren't reading it or clicking like. It's pretty fucking badass. If you don't, you're just a dipshit. So apparently we got a lot of dipshits in the world. You are missing out because it's pretty cool, man. So we're trying to make a trader's version of Barron's is really what I'm trying to do. So get on board, man. Read the shit and click fucking like. I don't know why we still have to beg for this. But we've got badass articles going into detail on some of these stocks. And I can't get a fucking thumb click. So yeah, I take it personal. So this is a stage 1. Stage 1. Price comes down. If you have my course, Getting Started with Stock Charts, it's easy to spot a bottom, guys. And you say, well, how do you know? Well, the next day it goes up. So what we're looking for is 6 points of confluence. Big word, huh? We've had classes on confluence. That's when things line up. So I'm looking at 6 things here. The RSI to go extreme. I get a price point where it stops. Price stops. And the next 4 candles are above it, or bars. So, and look, so now it's easy looking forward. We saw it over here too, right? Here's one. And then look, it holds. See where it holds? Price went up, came back down, but it held that point. We call that point in money flow an anchor. Okay? An anchor point. Market just closed. TQ closed at 53.67. Not a bad day, to be honest. And so I got an anchor point. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 bars. But because one didn't, I'm waiting for the trigger, which is what the money flow. We use the 5-day exponential moving average. This right here, the little dotted line you see is the 5-day exponential moving average. we need all of these to come together. And when they come together, we have convergence, confluence, and convergence. Big words. Big words. And as they come together, you're going to see the moving averages come together. Now, if they're really far apart, we call that a broken family inside of the money flow. And all that means, if I say broken family, is like, this is probably going to take a minute. Family needs to come together before these, and you can see that. You can go back and look. And so one of the ways to use moving averages isn't so much the crossover of this thing turn. Why does this keep turning, man? Hold on here. Fucking technical difficulties. What's up, Tim, man? Appreciate you. So it's this confluence. Trying to look at all these different monitors here. And so I have a lot of things coming together. I have my stage 4 decline. I have a total exhaustion here. You see this of when you get, these are like, you typically see these at bottoms where you just get a complete washout. Like anybody else that was holding in, they're feeling like shit right here. And then bam, it stops. And for me, that's an anchor. Often that is going to be followed by that extreme RSI. And so as I'm looking at the chart, I'm just letting the picture be drawn, man. I'm not trying to guess it. I don't really give a fuck where it goes. It's going to go up, down, or sideways. And I'm not trying to predict that. I'm just trying to do what is. And so the money flow is about a repeatable pattern. And we can get the pattern to the downside, or we can get the pattern to the upside, or the pattern to the sideways. And when I talk about confluence, I'm looking at these 6 parts, the 5-day, the 10-day, the 20, the RSI, support and resistance, and the MACD. And I'm wanting confluence of these indicators to come together in that pattern. And so as I begin to watch, it gives me a way to try to determine this right here. And so often what I'm trying to spot is that convergence of stage 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, right? I'm just trying to catch where they come together right there. And that's usually where you are probably going to start to get crossovers with the moving average. You don't have to. If price is moving fast, sometimes price can move faster than the moving averages can keep up, because remember, it's a lagging indicator. And so price is king. And let's say you have an anchor and only 1 or 2 bars, but price gets above the anchor. I'll jump with it, man, because price is king. Price overrides everything else, right? Only thing that pays is price. Nobody's going to pay you for an indicator. So once we got above the 5, well, here we had plenty. Boom, I want to enter. And then today, I would expect, because if you look at this move from the apex point to here, I mean, guys, it's a 10% move. It doesn't look like it, but from, $20 to 23, that's a big move. And so it's got to digest that, because time is fractal. And so the fractal nature of time, if we were to drop this down to a 1-hour chart, we start to see it a little different. See all this stage 4, and then look, right there's our anchor point. And this is a 1 hour. And so you can have time continuity. Man, we put some words out there today. Convergence. That's a word. Confluence. That's a word. And now, time continuity. A lot of big words. So right here, we can see that anchor point. This is that anchor point. So 6 of these bars right here made that anchor point on the daily. And that's how we can use the fractal nature of time and drop down and kind of see it. And that gave us, so what you're seeing on that little sell-off or anything is people that got in here and they rode it up to here, and look, bam, completed move, but on a much shorter time frame. So often, if I'm talking with someone about trading, I don't know your time frame, man. You see how important, to answer the question. I need to know time. I need to know, do you understand confluence? Do you understand time continuity, right? So not as easy as what do you think about this stock? It's, I don't know. It could be a shitty stock and you make money on it. I don't know your time frame. I don't know why you're buying it or how you're trading it. So if a guy's buying it for dividends, who gives a fuck about the 1 hour chart? Now, you might care because you want to time your entries. You want to get the best price. So you're entering on a stage one, so you might drop down to make sure you're getting the best entry point. So just something to think about there as we look at time continuity. It is important. And I've had people sometimes come in our Discord or come in, they're like, what does it matter if we're just buying and holding? We can just do dollar cost averaging, which is a word you'll never hear me say. I don't dollar cost fucking average. Okay. That's for losers who don't understand the market. Does it work? Yeah, of course. Stock market goes up 70% of the time. So complete dipshits can make money in stock market. All you gotta do is put money in. Just keep putting money in an index fund. You're going to make money. I mean, get what I'm saying? So if that is true, then any sort of skills that you can add on top of it that's what's going to help you do better and better. And yeah, over time, it makes a big fucking difference if you have 20, 30, 40 positions, and each time you're getting $1 better fill than this guy over here over a long period of time, it's going to make a big fucking difference. It will absolutely make a huge difference. Not only are you managing your own trades, but you're pinpointing your entries. Yeah, it's going to make a huge difference. So I don't understand why that would confuse someone. Yeah, so now we got price what? We see where it closed today. Price is now above the 5-day and the 10-day. So we're at a 2-week, hard to believe, but that's above the 2-week average. We're getting a move on the TSI. The MACD this is just a momentum indicator. It's going our direction, but we're not above the 20, right? So this is not a breakout. Let me clean this chart up. I want to show you something else. Was that still a 60-minute we were on? No. Watch this. This is a little problem here. I want you to see this. Look at this support here. See it? Look how many times it bounced off that zone. 5 times. And it tried to stop here. You got a doji. So it respected that zone. Man, there's a lot of dojis in this. Look at this. There's one there. Huh. That's something worth mentioning, by the way. If you see a stock that has a lot of them and it doesn't seem to work, use common sense and say, well, fuck, man, maybe dojis don't mean a lot to this particular chart. And every chart kind of has its own characteristics. And so look back and see, like, maybe this stock never actually does this or this. Well, if you know that and you can look back and see it, then, that can help you modify a little bit of your expectations. So we know we have resistance right here. So but look how far apart the moving averages are. So it's probably going to take a minute before it breaks through this 23 range. So that's the stock AI. Another way to play AI would be AIYY, which is the yield max options income strategy. We're in this. Good time to buy it. It would have been right there. So now it's moved up. So you could collect on this. It pays huge fat ass dividends. I think the dividend yield's like 70%. It's so high. Some people can't even conceive it in their fucking brain. So they can't play them. They can't buy it because it just seems too good to be true or too high. So they just stick their head and they don't bother to learn it. Same with Bitcoin. Same with other things, because some people have a hard time learning new things or other things. But the easiest way to do that, guys, if you find something hard to just fucking buy a little and watch. I get people that'll about that with Bitcoin. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up and buy $100 worth. You spend $100 on dumb shit. Just do it and watch what happens. And a lot of times just by taking action, even the smallest of action, is going to help you. Let's say in trading, you're like, oh, I would trade more, but I don't have any money. You don't need money to trade, man. You need money to make money trading. But first you need to learn to trade. So you don't need money to learn to trade. Okay. You can, and I would encourage you to set up a paper trading account to take trades that maybe you can't take. An example would be air. This is one I texted out a little while ago. Now, maybe you didn't take this trade and you're like, well, I don't have the money. Okay. But if you don't take it, you lose the experience. So we had an anchor point. I had a couple of people I was working with personally, and I made them take this. There's our stage 1 entry. I was like, no, go to your paper trading account and click the fucking button. So now we're going to develop experience, even though they may not get any money. So if you look at these patterns here. Stage 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. I mean, this thing is trend. Look, I mean, this thing has been trending perfect. Look, 3, 3, completed move down to the next extreme. RSI runs up, look, to the next extreme, and then went down. Didn't quite hit it, but we got the anchor and everything else. So on that confluence, it wasn't 6 for 6. It was 5 for 6. And I need at least 4 of 6 before I even start to make this move. I might nibble on 3, but 3s usually don't work. You got to get more. And then look, now we're at an extreme. Now notice this extreme is hitting what? At a previous high. And we know if you have my course, Getting Started with Stock Charts, or my boot camp, we talk about that. Price has memory. Wherever it's been before, it'll go again. And then that zone becomes a sticky zone. That's how you get support and resistance. Look right here. Come on, man. Look at this. You also, there's a difference between support and resistance and supply and demand zones. Distance and supply and demand zones. Wow, this chart is beautiful, huh? This, my friends, is what you call a supply zone. Whenever price hits it, look at this. You need more than a touch. You need a lot of buying. Look at all the buying in this zone here. Just buy, 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 buy. That's called supply. Yeah, it is support. There's a slight difference between support and supply. And right now, this would just be resistance. We can't call it a demand zone until it happens a bunch. If every time it got in this thing, it sold off, I would call that a demand zone or supply zone. And then demand zone down here. And supply meaning they start to dump their supply on the market, which causes the sideways movement. And then if they keep dumping and there are no buyers, you get the stage 4 decline. But then down here, we have a demand zone where people start to want it. Get what I'm saying? Now you can begin to see the difference between support and resistance and supply and demand. There is a slight difference. You can always hit me up if you have any of that. Okay, air was one of our recent trades. What is our other one? WG. What is this? Damn, what is this? I don't know why this ticker will not stay in my head. You ever get tickers like that? They just will not stay in your head. If you have my chart pack, trade ideas of the week, let me see. I marked these charts up for you. We got people in the MFG, don't even look at them. Blows my fucking mind. Let me see. I'm really surprised by this move in crypto, that crypto's moving down and the stocks are trying to move up. So this is a swing trade. Look, I got my anchor point. This is a new one. I've been pretty hot with these trades. Boom, we caught the bottom. 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar. That's enough for a trigger, right? So I can start my entry. The next day I want to add full stage. Now we go full-blown stage 2 breakout right now. What do you mean? Price is above the 20, but that isn't confirmed until what? The 5-day crosses the 20. And this set right up in the pocket. Perfect. So again, you could add again, or if you're just trading breakouts, this is where you would enter. And the target is right up in here. So simple, man. Oh, what did I do? Yeah, appreciate you guys. Somebody says earnings, it's tanking, huh? Well, that sucks. My meta position's not that big, to be honest. All right, man. So that's a couple. We went over AI. We looked at WGM. Let me just look at the indexes and we'll get out of here. I'm not going to hold it long. TLT just, man. It kind of came up into the close. That's not a good sign. What do we do with this, man? I have a very large position, too large in TMI, and I'm just staying with it. Fuck it, man. I'm just going to keep adding on stage ones. Either one day I'm going to lose a bunch of money or this thing's going to rip. I do not believe that the U.S. Treasury 20-year Treasury bond is going to zero. I'm just going to keep adding on stage ones as a position trade, and I will scale out as this thing moves higher. Bonds are trading way below the 200. And I want to show you something here. If you were to look at this, do you notice a pattern? Way below the 200, runs up, tags the 200, comes down, tags 200, comes down, tries to tag it. This will probably come down. It'll run up and tag it. What the price will be, I don't know. Because if you notice, this 200 is sloping down. Bonds have been a shit show. In my experience, whatever did bad last year tends to do good this year. And whatever did good last year tends to do bad. And if any of you have been in the money flow with me for a while, you've seen that play out. That's how we made our money in oil. Previous year, it was a shit show. Following year, it was the star of the parade. So it takes about 2 years to get in flow with the money flow because of the cycles. And because you're going to start to shift and change your portfolio. And you can't do all that overnight. And some things that, you may be like, wow, we're not doing any trade. Well, there's no trades right now, man. I'm not trying to force it. And so inside of the money flow, there's 4 main playbooks that I'm doing between the B&B, swing trades, regular swing trades, day trading, and then buy and hold. And so they're all within the money flow, but they're all slightly different. So that's bonds. Let me just pull up the wind real quick. Call it the wind because without the wind, ain't nothing happening. Crypto's headed down. That sucks. Let me see. The only reason I say that is I had leveraged positions on. Dow Jones, stage 1 buy here. You could buy the Dow, UDOW. You get a 3X. The price is a lot cheaper, and you got a nice little swing trade here. Or we turn and head down. Who knows? Money flow is not about direction. So here is me kind of breaking down the chart. Set up your own win. You can run through it. Gold is working on a stage 4 decline. I imagine it'll come down to the previous box, which is right around here, around the 200 zone. So about an 8% decline. Now I trade the UGL, which is a double leverage gold. Not a big gold stock fan, to be honest. The QQQ technology is full-blown stage 1. It's like it was here. It's like it was here. Does that mean it's going to go up? I don't know. I'm just the pattern that I trade right here. What we have is right here. Stage 1 going into a 2. Until it breaks out 2, we don't know it's going up. Okay. But that's the direction that I would be gambling or trading. The S&P right here. So I started putting my leverage positions back on. If I was an index buyer, this is where I'd want to dump my money into an index. So S&P's headed higher. We have a channel inside of Discord just for the S&P. Let's see. We already did bonds. That's a reversal candle, by the way. I don't know about that. That doesn't make me feel good. USO went stage 4, but it's kind of wanting to hang in there. It's already put in an anchor point. It's already above the 5. Oil wants to go heavy, wants to go higher. Here's my problem with jumping on a trade in oil. We have a motherfucking supply zone. Every time price has gotten here, it went down. So be careful. Just read the chart, man. Doesn't mean it won't work. So that's the win, man. 7 things in the win. Without that win, those 7 items control the stock market. Wherever the bonds go, you're going to see a lot. So let's look at, okay, bonds were down today. Look at the XLP, consumer staples, and they fucking rocketed today. Wow. I hadn't checked in on the index. Look at that. I mean, look how obvious this trade. There's your anchor point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Price is above the 5. There's your entry. Off we go. So that means Coca-Cola was up today, right? I don't even need to, right? Boom. What else would have been in there? I don't know. Look at Pepsi. I bet it's up. Boom. You see all this? Because they're in those sectors. So you want to learn the 11 sectors of the S&P 500. If you don't know them, learn them. It's only 11, bro. You know 11 football teams. You know 11 states. You probably got 11 people you don't even like. So do the 11. You can figure out 11 things. Now, I keep them over here. I got so many setups, I don't even know where I got them. Let's see. Woo, look at insurance setting up. So if I know this, if I can look and insurance is setting up, what does that tell me? Insurance stocks are setting up. Look at all these setups. These are all stage ones. XLB hasn't gotten above the 5, so you might have a play here. So then you could go look. And if you're in the MFG, I've had people download that app. If you download the Spider app, you can look into the top 10 stocks in each one of these sectors. If you combine that with doing your fucking homework, you will be a beast. You will be an amazing trader. So jump to the homework real quick here. This right here. If you combine this with understanding the 11 sectors and tracking your stocks, you don't need fucking filters. You don't. You are a filter. You'll actually learn the stock market. If you feel like you don't have time, that's because you don't give a fuck about stocks. You're worried about other things. Nobody should have to talk you into it, man. And if you don't have time, you'll never be good. That's what I know. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys listening today. If anything I can do to help you, let me know. If you need a home to trade, man, we'd love to have you. I'm always looking for good traders. I love talking trading. It's pretty much all I do, guys. And it's my favorite thing in the world, man.